Hey there. Just giving everybody a second to hop on. Hey Sabrina, Fellowship. Welcome to Thought Snob Live. And Jerry. And Gizigmo. Welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Thought Snob Live. This is my weekly show. Comes on TikTok every Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I talk about non-traditional pathways to success and out of the ordinary ways of living and non-traditional thinking and all things that are out of the box. And today is no exception. And I'm really, really glad that you're here. This is probably the most, I would say, important show that I have ever done because it's about health. And thank you everybody for joining. I'm just getting started. If you can please tap that screen and like it. I want this to be broadcasted as wide as we can possibly get it because this is a really, really important topic that I've been pretty excited about talking to you about. And I have every intention of changing your life in some way, shape, form, or fashion today, okay? I just want to start out by saying that I'm 48 years old. I turned 48 on Christmas Day. And 2024 is the first year of my life that I enjoyed perfect health. Not one bout of sickness. That is rare. Very, very rare for me, okay? And so if you stay sick more than other people, you want to hang in there with me today. We've got about an hour. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have as I talk, but I've got a lot of information that I want to pass along. And again, I have every intention of giving you the information to help you improve your health. If anything that I'm about to say resonates, when I used to be sick all the time, that's the only way to describe it. And this started in childhood. Hey Clyde, Happy New Year. And it started, of course I didn't know this as a child, as we don't know what's going on as a child as far as our belief systems are concerned. When I was a little girl, my mother told me that I just got sicker than other people. She told me that I was frail and I was weak and that I just got sick easily. And she said that I was like her mother. And she would say, you know, mommy was frail and mommy always got sick easily. And she compared me to my grandmother. Well, the truth about my grandmother was she smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day with no filters and drank moonshine and associated with some really, really toxic, abusive people. She treated herself like shit. And so you can't really compare a little girl to a woman like that. And she ultimately, passed away when she was in her early 50s. But that's where I believed that I was frail. And that I did get sick easily. And I believe that about myself as young as the age of 4 or 5. I remember thinking that when I was in kindergarten and elementary school. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for joining. And that belief system is why I stayed sick so much. When I was a child, middle school, high school, on into my 20s, I cannot stress this enough. If the stomach virus was going around, I got it. If the flu was going around, I got it. I had bouts of pneumonia. I kept these debilitating head colds. I mean, I would get a head cold that would just hang on for weeks at a time. And it was frequent. It was about every 3 months I would get a head cold, at least 2, 3, 4 times a year. And it just made my life miserable. And I noticed that other people around me, that didn't go on with them. Then, what about having kids in the home? Yes, I have 2 stepchildren, and I came into their life when they were very young. And I used to pick up everything that they had too. But that's why this talk here is important today, because I don't pick this stuff up anymore. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to stop the madness with the frequent sickness. It all boiled down to what I believed about my health. That's what it boiled down to, okay? Now, in my late 20s, and many of you know this, many of you have bought my book, Thought Snob, The Modern Spiritual Playbook for a Better Life. It's available on Amazon. I'd love for you to get a copy if you don't have one. Many of you know my story because you listen to my podcast, you follow my work. And those of you who know my story know that I started my self-empowerment transformation against all odds in my late 20s. And by the time I got into my early 30s, I had finally learned about how our subconscious mind works. And if you don't know how your subconscious mind works, I'll spend 2 quick seconds explaining that, okay? Our subconscious beliefs control 90-something% of our behaviors. You can fact check me, Google it right now, you'll find the science. Whatever you believe about yourself, well, that dictates your thoughts, your language, the way you speak, your actions, your behaviors, your relationships, your emotions, everything, okay? So since I thought that I was this weak person who was fragile and got sick easier than others, well, then that's exactly what my life was like. And that belief system controlled my behaviors, okay? This is the first thing that I did to interrupt those thoughts when I figured out what was going on. Because when I figured out how the subconscious mind works, I thought, oh my God, that's why I stay sick all the time. And I remember I sat down and I took inventory of all of the beliefs that I had about myself. And the very first thing that popped up was, bam, I get sick easily. It was the very first thing that popped up. What I started doing was telling my subconscious mind a new story. And your subconscious will believe whatever you tell it. Instead of telling your subconscious this crazy stuff that isn't true, then try telling your subconscious things that, could be true, that are more empowering and that will improve your life instead of freaking wreck it. One of the first things I did, I started telling myself, I'm perfect health. And that became my daily mantra. I didn't believe it when I first started saying it. I still got sick. I still got the head colds. I still caught all the stuff. But I kept saying it. I kept saying it. I kept thinking it. I kept writing it down. Happy New Year to you, Sky. I am perfect health. I am perfect health. I would write it and write it and write it and write it. There's power in that. And when I started using that mantra, I am perfect health, I realized, and this is all about awareness. We go about things so mindlessly at times. And it's all about developing an awareness about what you're doing and what you're saying and being more present. I used to tell people all the time about how I got sick easily. And I would even plan ahead in anticipation of getting sick. I'm not joking. I was usually sick every single December. Like the first 2 weeks of December were hands down my sickest times of the year. It was insane. It was in December when I got pneumonia And I was like 26 years old, and it was horrible. And every December, I would anticipate that, and I would plan ahead for the sickness. And I would think, okay, I'm not going to be able to go to this function. I don't need to plan that. And it was just madness. And what do you know? Every December, I was sick. Now, there's something to that. There's something to that. I was creating the sickness, and it was the same thing over and over again. I even developed, and this is also in my book, it's also in my book, I also developed this rare bladder condition called interstitial cystitis, and it's commonly referred to as IC, and it makes most women absolutely miserable, and the doctors will tell you that there is no cure. Well, I am now asymptomatic from IC. I haven't had any symptoms in a long time. And again, I said this in the very beginning of the live, for 2024, first year of my life, I've had no sickness. The years leading up to this year, I kept getting better and better and better. But like in 2023, I think I did have a head cold. I had a head cold in 2023. And then the year before that, in 2022, I had a couple of head colds. In 2021, I did have COVID, and that took my immunity down for a while. But it was still better than what it had been in the past. In 2021, I got COVID, and nobody could understand why, because I took like isolation to a whole other level. Will you post videos about what you're discussing after the live? Yes, I always put them on my YouTube channel. Yes, absolutely. And this is such an important talk. Absolutely. I will definitely be posting this video as soon as TikTok makes it available. But when hi Paula, is there an update to your giveaway with your book? I'm keeping an eye on the reviews. The competition is still going. And when I hit 10,000 reviews on Amazon, somebody's going to get $1,000 in cash right then and there. And so it's ongoing. It's ongoing. And if you're in the live right now and you've purchased a book, please leave a review that throws your hat in the ring. You're automatically entered to win. That's all you got to do. Okay, so back to the whole sickness thing. But in 2021, and this is another example of how you can absolutely create sickness by focusing on what you don't want, okay? I stayed laser focused on COVID. It was in 2021 when I fell back into a bad habit of watching the news. The news doesn't do anything but cause you to worry. Worrying is the same thing as praying for what you don't want. I fell back into that habit. I allowed the media to infiltrate my peace and worry about COVID all the time. I didn't go anywhere. I wasn't really around anybody. And I got it. And I know why I got it. It was because I was laser focused on not getting it instead of being laser focused on the mantra that I had been using for years. I am perfect health. You know, that was my thing. Well, after COVID, I realized what I had done and I got back on track. And 2022 was a lot better. 2023 was even better. 2024, first year of my life, I didn't get sick one time. No issues whatsoever. I felt great pretty much all the time. No head colds, no stomach flu. And I'm telling you, I was around it. I was around people who had COVID, the flu, you name it, okay? So the first thing that I mentioned just a little while ago, I'll go over again, that turned my health around was I reversed that subconscious belief that I had held for so many years about myself that I got sick easily. When I don't. I'm not a weak person, for God's sake. I'm one of the strongest people ever. And so that I am perfect health mantra helped me turn things around, and it told my subconscious mind a new story. And eventually I believed it. And when I believed that I wasn't susceptible to illness, guess what? I stopped getting sick. Okay? Second thing I did is I would interrupt those crazy thoughts. You know, when you have one thought and it just spirals into this crazy story, and it's just the crazy story is that's just it, crazy, it's not true. When I would get around someone that talked about, let's say, the stomach flu is going around, or, you know, COVID's going around, or I'd get around somebody and they had a, you know, a head cold or whatever, I would immediately think that I was going to get it. And I would go into this fearful state of thinking about how sick I was going to be. And what do you know? A few days would pass, or a week or something would pass, and I would be sick. And that was just a crazy thing. And I started behaving more mindfully. Like, awareness is the absolute foundation of all change. When that first thought would enter my mind, I would interrupt it, and I would think, hang on a second, that's not true. If you look at the facts in any situation, it's usually going to make you feel better. And that's what I keep referring back to this. That's what Thought Snob is about. Snob stands for See New Objective Beliefs. When you look at the objective side of things, you're looking at the facts. And if I came in contact with someone that said, oh God, I just got over the flu, it's going around everywhere, everybody in my family's got it, you know, blah, 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 blah. And my mind would be like, oh God, I'm going to get it, you know, I'm going to get the flu, oh my God. And I would just start thinking. The moment that those crazy thoughts started to take me over and turn into this worst case scenario story, I would say, hang on a second here. Right now, in this moment, the facts are, I feel pretty good. I'm not sick. I have control over this situation. I don't have to catch this. I'm not going to catch this. My immunity is strong. I feel good. Look at the facts and interrupt those crazy stories. That the meaning that we make of things can really, really mess with us at times and cause us to create things that we absolutely do not want. And we just have to get a handle on it. And it's you can get a handle on it as long as you can practice mindful awareness. I keep looking down at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. Another thing that I did that I'm going to, do you think the same can be used for vision problems? I am not a medical doctor, but I will tell you right now that I trained with Deepak Chopra for almost 3 years. And I am certified in Ayurveda. I'm an Ayurveda specialist. And I'm here to tell you right now that I firmly believe that we can heal. Our bodies are wired to heal. I think that we can heal ourselves of anything. And so that's my answer to your question. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know what's going on with your vision. But I absolutely believe that there are things that we can do to correct problems in our body, and Ayurveda is designed to do that. And some of the things I'm getting ready to talk about have to do with Ayurveda. It's all about restoring balance in the body. If something's wrong, if you don't feel well, then it's from an imbalance in your body somewhere. Something has gotten off balance, and there are ways to restore to create a balance and restore that and put you back to homeostasis. And a lot of the things I'm about to go over will help you do that. I highly recommend going to my website at paulaswope.com and seeing what I have on there about Ayurveda, and then maybe take it a step further and just do a Google search, and you're going to find all kinds of things that might help you, okay? Healing through sound. There are sounds that can help with vision problems and other physical ailments, okay? There are holistic approaches to these things. And as I say that, I absolutely am not discounting the power of westernized medicine and doctors. I will always see my doctors. I will take medicine when I need it. But if we just combine the two, I think that is the magic potion. I think that if we take control of our health as I have and did, to stop all that sickness, you're not supposed to be sick all the time. Something is wrong if you are sick all the time. And you've got the power within you to correct that problem. It's just knowing what to do. And I didn't know what to do, okay? But I do now, and that's why I'm here. So the next thing, speaking of Ayurveda and holistic approaches to health, meditation is it's life-changing in so many ways. Meditation reduces inflammation from the body. I have pigment, glaucoma, and a hemorrhage in one of my eyes. Okay, just hear me out here for a second. Inflammation, that's the number one thing that all of us need to be doing every day, is reducing inflammation in our bodies. When you get right down to it, reducing inflammation is why I am in such great health now and wasn't in the past. My body was absolutely ridden with inflammation. Inflammation is at the root cause of nearly every disease known to man. Everything I'm getting ready to tell you will help you to reduce inflammation in your body, okay? And I have a lot of information about that as well in my book. I'm going to keep referring back to my book because I believe in it so much, so much. And all of it's true, by the way. It's not like mumbo jumbo. I tell you my personal stories, but I also tell you how to heal yourself as I did. And the healing modalities in here are backed by science. It's not just me saying, oh, I made this up. It's backed by science. Everything I'm telling you right now is backed by science. You just got to do it, okay? Meditation. Meditation reduces inflammation. Here's how this goes. When we go day to day, and if we are experiencing some kind of stress daily, like chronic stress, okay? And that chronic stress goes on and on and on and on and on. More than likely, it's going to eventually manifest itself and into inflammation in the body. If we don't do something, I had no knowledge of this until I was in my 30s. If we don't reduce that, if we do something to reduce that inflammation in our bodies daily, that inflammation is going to turn into a more serious physical ailment, more than likely. Meditation interrupts that. Meditation stimulates the vagus nerve. And that it turns on our parasympathetic nervous system. When you turn on your parasympathetic nervous system, then you go into rest and digest mode versus being in fight, flight, freeze all the time. Okay, it's very important to turn on the parasympathetic nervous system as often as you can. Now, I also want to tell you another thing that meditation does, and I want to look at my notes here so I don't miss anything. Have you ever heard of telomeres? Does anybody know what telomeres are? So telomeres are like these little caps on the end of our chromosomes, okay? And toxins and stress shorten those telomeres. When that happens, our chromosomes aren't protected. And research shows that shortened telomeres are involved in every known disease. So regardless of what health challenges you're facing or what health challenges that you might be concerned about the most, chances are good that shrinking telomeres play a role, okay? Now, practicing a healing meditation consistently lengthens our telomeres. It's true. The result is better well-being and healthier biological age. That's why some studies show that people who meditate and do practices like breath work, both are things that stimulate the vagus nerve and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, enjoy longevity more so than people who don't. There's something to it. Again, there's something to it. But it takes discipline. It takes discipline. And it's something that you must do every day. And when I started meditating every day, hands down, my health improved. And I attribute, I use primordial sound. And I use primordial sound meditation. I attribute my daily practice of primordial sound meditation to being asymptomatic from the IC. I also know that I've reduced so much inflammation in my body is why my immunity is so strong. If I'm around someone who's sick, I don't catch it. I don't have those sinus issues anymore or the head colds. There's something to it. There's something to it. And I'm not going to tell you that it's easy because it is a total commitment. I often tell people, listen, taking care of myself is a full-time job. But I cannot put a time clock or a price tag on my health because it's invaluable and it's priceless. And if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. And if you don't feel good, you can't attract what you want because you attract what you are and how you feel. And if you don't feel well, you are going to unconsciously or subconsciously create a bunch of bullshit that you don't want. So how you feel mirrors what you've got and what your life looks like and the people around you. All right. Now, when I went into at the tail end of 2023, I found out that my body had stopped making estrogen, which is always fun. And so I was in menopause, now postmenopausal. And that can really interfere with your health a lot. And so I went into 2024. I said, I'm going to step up my game. I keep getting better and better and better. I keep feeling better and better, but I'm going to step up my game some more. And I learned about the power of cryotherapy and infrared sauna. Listen, if you can commit to getting in a sauna and doing cryotherapy 2 or 3 times a week, you are going to feel so much better. You're going to experience so many health benefits. Let me tell you what doing cryotherapy and getting in an infrared sauna 3 times a week has done for me. I've reduced inflammation. I have an old injury in my left leg. I broke my fibula. Is it fibula? Fibula, yeah. I broke my fibula in 2 spots in 2002. And I've got some hardware in there. I've got a plate and a metal plate and 6 screws. Before I started doing cryotherapy and the infrared sauna, I had pain in that left leg. It was stiff. I had trouble sometimes moving my foot, and I'm a really active person. I exercise, 3, 4, 5 times a week, and it was really kind of interfering with my physical activity level, and I didn't like it. When I started doing infrared sauna and cryotherapy, that pain went away, and it has not come back. And I'm telling you, it went away in the first, I'm going to say month. No joke. It might have been sooner than a month, seriously. So if you don't know what cryotherapy is, it's just a sophisticated version of your cold plunge. I get in this cryotherapy, cryo chamber. They call it cryo chamber. You walk in, and the level I'm at right now is sub-zero temperatures. I mean, it's negative 209. It's negative 209 in there. And I stay in anywhere from 2 minutes to 3 minutes. And I get in the sauna for 30 minutes first, and then I get in the cryo chamber. And I do that 3 times a week. Now, cryotherapy and infrared sauna, they greatly reduce inflammation. I highly recommend that you look it up, see if it's right for you. Just because it's right for me, it may not be right for you. You might not like it. You got to find healing modalities that you like. It's like if you start trying to make yourself meditate, or you start trying to make yourself do an exercise that you don't like, well, you're probably not going to stick with it, right? You got to find something that you like. And I happen to like the infrared sauna and the cryotherapy, and it's worked out real well for me. Still a commitment. It's still a damn commitment. I got to do it if I want to reap the benefits from it. Now, cryotherapy, vasoconstriction. That's one of the ways that it works. And what that is when you are exposed to cold, your body constricts blood vessels to reduce your blood flow. And moves your blood to your organs, and this is what decreases inflammation and swelling. Cryotherapy has so many benefits. I could just talk about it forever. And the data show that people who use an infrared sauna just flat out, they live longer. They live longer, and they're not sick as much. It really boosts immunity in a big way. So I want to move on to one more thing. See, it's 2:30. I want to move on to one more thing, and I think that you guys will really like this. Have you ever heard of tapping? I'm sure you have. Emotional freedom technique, tapping. Dash around the world, I have a lamp which I use. Is like like an infrared sauna lamp. Is that what you're talking about? I don't really know much about those. I've never used one, but I've heard that that they're really great. The infrared sauna that I use, I actually have one at home, and it's full body. But then the place that I do cryotherapy, they have infrared sauna pods, and so your whole body is in it, but your head is out. And I do kind of like that because you have to wash your hair a lot when you get into one of those saunas that are full body because it makes your head sweat and just kind of feel kind of gross. But regardless, one single lamp. Okay. Would you put it in the comments where you got your lamp, just in case anybody is interested in buying one too? So, tapping, emotional freedom technique, okay? If you have not heard of tapping, you use your fingertips to just tap gently, like 5 to 10 times on specific energy hot spots in your body, or meridian spots, and it restores balance in your body's energy and relieves negative energy, okay? It will relieve anxiety, anger, fear, worry, sadness, guilt, all those low energy vibe emotions that if we carry them around forever, they turn into inflammation. Your emotions have everything to do with how you feel, because you process and digest emotions just like you do the food that you consume. And so if you're not processing and digesting emotions properly, then you're gonna probably manifest some physical ailments and sicknesses from that. And none of us want that. I don't think anybody in this world would say, no, I really want to be sick. Nobody is ever going to say that. I've never heard anybody say that. Being sick sucks. So I started using tapping a few years ago I started experimenting with it for anxiety, headaches, any physical ailments that I would have. If I felt an upper respiratory infection coming on, did you know that feeling? You're like, oh no, you know the feeling. When I would feel symptomatic from something, or even if something was bothering me, I started using tapping, and I am telling you, it works like a charm. And it's very forgiving. You don't have to worry if you're doing everything properly. Just do it. And sometimes you have to do more than one round. But if you can just take the time when you're not feeling well, or something's bothering you, or you're feeling some anxiety, if you can just take the time to do some rounds of tapping, it might work for you. It works for me. It's also backed by science. All right. I'm going to give you just a quick and dirty demonstration of how you would do tapping for a headache. Okay. So what you do, let's just say we're playing here. This is hypothetically speaking. But let's say that you feel a headache coming on. In that instance, you're going to rank that problem like using a Likert scale, 1 to 10. 1 being the least, 10 being the worst. So if you've got a headache, or you feel a migraine coming on, you're going to think, okay, how bad is this problem? How much does it hurt on a scale from 1 to 10? Whatever you rank it on that scale from 1 to 10, then you're going to say, all right, I'm going to do some tapping, And my intention is to get this number down to a 1 or 0, no pain at all, right? So that's the first step. The second step is accepting yourself. It's okay, I've got this problem, but that doesn't define me. I forgive myself. I love myself, okay? So you're going to start with your karate chop right here on the side of your hand. And you're just going to tap very, very gently, just like that, okay? And you're going to say, even though I have a headache, I fully and completely accept myself. You'll let up, go back in. Even though I have a headache, I fully and completely accept myself. Let up. Third time. Even though I have a headache, I fully and completely accept myself. So you start there, and then you're going to move on to the top of your eyebrows, okay? Go up here, top of your eyebrows. You're going to say, I don't like having a headache. I do not like having a headache. Side of the eyes right here. I can't be as productive as I want to be when I have any pain in my body. Under your eyes. And I am fearful this pounding pain will get worse. Under your nose right here. Luckily, I have innate healing powers and am activating those right now. Chin. I feel like I can't control this, and sometimes that scares me. You're going to go beginning of your collarbone, about right here. Just tap lightly. I intend always to feel good, and having a headache interferes with that. Then you're going to go around right under here. I am wired to heal. I am wired for perfect health. Top of the head. This headache will subside and I will feel better in no time. That's it. That's one round of tapping. Now, I don't get headaches frequently. I've only had what I think was a migraine when I had COVID back in 2021, and I don't ever want to have pain like that again. But if I feel a headache coming on, I immediately stop and I sit down and I do 3 or 4 rounds of tapping. And I am telling you that headache goes away. It goes away. All right. Dash Around the World is saying it's great for targeted therapy. You're talking about the lamp, right? The lamp. The infrared sauna lamp, I think. Yep. So a combination of all of those things I've just mentioned, and I'll do a little recap. Let's see. I started first with adopting a new subconscious belief system for myself. Hey, I am perfect health. I'm not some little weak, sick person. What the hell is that about? And my mother telling me that was her way of protecting me. She didn't realize what she was doing. She had no awareness whatsoever. She thought by telling me that I stayed, got sick easier than other people, that she was helping me out so I could bundle up more and just accept it and get prepared. And, this is just the way it's going to be. And, that really, really, really sucked. And I'm glad that I got a handle on that, because I feel like if I hadn't have, it would have gotten a real handle on me. And it messed with my life a lot. When I was younger, I couldn't, I was sick all the time and my friends weren't. It really sucked. And those subconscious beliefs can really hurt you and hold you back. And be aware of that. Just be aware of that. Sure. Thank you for doing this. Can't wait to watch this back on YouTube. Absolutely. It usually takes TikTok about an hour, and I can download the video and I'll get it on YouTube as soon. About an hour, and I can download the video and I'll get it on YouTube as soon as I can. I promise. I talked about, the subconscious beliefs. I talked about interrupting those ridiculous, disempowering thoughts by looking at the facts. In my book, I talk about thought slobs and thought snobs. And a thought slob is what I used to be the first 3 decades of my life, so no freaking judgment here. A slob stands for self-loathing overrides better. Thought slob. Because when you don't get a handle on choosing what's best for you, then it's going to be selected for you, and it's usually not what you want. And when you don't choose what's best for you, well, you're self-loathing. That's what's going on. Clyde asked, if TikTok goes away, where will you live? Probably I will go to Instagram. I've got a comparable following on Instagram. I just like this app better. I just do. That's why I don't go live on Instagram a lot. But I don't think that TikTok is going to get banned. But if it does, then I will be more active on Instagram. So we've got a solution. So the thought slob, okay, self-loathing overrides better. The thought snob, see new objective beliefs. See, the thought snob looks at the subjective opinions of others. Everything is subjective. It's opinions. It's these false meanings, these stories, these thoughts that just go haywire. That's what a thought slob does. But a thought snob stops and says, that's not true. That's not true at all. That's not who I am. I do have control over this. I'm not sick in this moment. I'm not a weak person. You know, it's just on and on and on. Like, you don't believe those spiraling thoughts that just snowball and create a crazy story. K Blue 3, hey there. Hey. Thank you all for joining. This is such an important talk. I'm glad you're here for it. And then the next thing I talked about was meditation and how it reduces inflammation. Breath work does too. If you don't like to meditate, that's fine. You don't want to force yourself to do anything. Try breath work. Sometimes I think that breath work is maybe even more powerful than meditation. Both of them are powerful. You got to choose what's right for you, or do both. I do both as much as I can. Something about that breath work really gets the energy flowing like no other. Oh my goodness. And if you're not familiar with breath work, I can give you something to try. It's called box breathing. And all you do is you inhale to a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Repeat. That's it. And if you can do that for a few minutes a day, you're going to reap some benefits from that. But it's like anything else. You got to do it every single day. It's a commitment. And if you're committed, then the repetition of doing that every single day has cumulative effects. It's just like exercise. It's like lifting weights to build a muscle. You do it every day, that muscle's going to get stronger. This is the exact same concept. And so then I also talked about cryotherapy, infrared sauna, and I talked about tapping. And there are other things too. There's Melissa, Dr. Melissa Carver. She is in the room. She actually wrote the foreword to Thought Snob. So we're happy to have her. She is also a Chopra certified instructor, and she just dropped a comment, pranayama, and that's what I was just talking about, breath work. And sometimes I say breath work because not everybody is familiar with the term pranayama, but that's what it is. And so we went over all of those things, and it is 2:42, and I'm happy to kind of stop the instruction piece for a bit and take some questions if you like, or I can keep giving you some other things that I did to improve my health, because I could talk about this for 5 years. I saw some questions a bit ago, but wasn't able to catch it. So anybody in the room, when I talked about the frequent sicknesses that I had from childhood, anybody else relate to that? Anybody else experience that? Clyde, you say be specific on medical issue. Will you give me some clarification about that? I will say everything that I have talked about, regardless of, and again, I'm not a medical doctor, but regardless of what medical issue you may have, everything that I have given you is not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt you. If it doesn't help you, it's not going to hurt you. It will improve your health overall. And I never give people a lecture about, oh, you got to diet, you got to exercise. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we need to do all of those things, but there's a little more to it than that. Yeah, what you eat is everything. Exercise is great, yes, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Now, when I adopted the Ayurveda lifestyle, the food did play a big role. I mean, I made a lot of changes with what I eat. I was eating a lot of processed foods and taking in a lot of dairy. And when I cut those two things out, yes, my health improved. It absolutely did. There's no doubt about that. And the Ayurveda diet also reduces inflammation in the body. And I abide by the 80-20 rule. I'm not perfect, don't want to be. I think that would be really, really boring. So 80% of the time I do the right thing. 20% of the time is saved for, we'll call it the vices. But that's, a balance. I'm doing the right thing a majority of the time. When used to, I never did the right thing, really, ever. Like, I was a fast food freaking junkie. And I felt like shit. So, and I don't even call it making a sacrifice. I used to call it that. Well, I gotta, make a sacrifice. Or, no, it's not a sacrifice. It's just absolutely it's choosing better. It's choosing better for me. It's not a sacrifice. And after I gave up the fast food, hell, I no longer wanted it. It took a while for me to not want it, but I stopped even wanting it. Like, I prefer the good stuff now. Dr. Carver says, have you noticed once you stop eating fast food, you can't even stand to eat it anymore? Oh, God, yeah. The thought of it makes me, ugh. It's just, oh, my goodness. Yeah. It's just gross to me. And now, I'm in the know about what's in it, and that's just even worse. And when I ate fast food, it seemed like I never really got full, and I was like really lethargic. I felt lethargic after I ate. I don't feel that way now after I eat. I don't bottom out and get all tired and stuff. It's like it's giving me energy, not taking it away. And if you're eating something and you feel bad afterwards, or your energy bottoms out, then it's taking something away from you. It's not giving you something. And I now think of food as medicine. And that's another tactic that I use to hold myself accountable and improve my health daily. If instead of giving in to temptation, I'll ask myself, hang on a second, am I creating good health right now, or am I creating sickness? And that will keep me from giving in to temptation, like just about every time. Because I have an awareness, because I stayed sick for so long, and I feel so good now. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to feel bad, So I'm just checking to see. Right, someone I know says, eat to live. Yeah, eat to live, don't live to eat. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. When I was I was 22. At 22, my peak weight was 204 pounds. 204 pounds when I was 22. And I am 5'5". My blood pressure was off the charts. Like at 22, was like 150 over 110. Heart rate out the wazoo. Cholesterol off the charts. LDL off the charts. For 22 years old, that was absolutely ridiculous. And during that time, I was dealing with, I did not realize how like traumatized that I was from my parents' divorce. And I was just eating my emotions. I wasn't processing it. I don't know if I was repressing or suppressing, but I wasn't dealing with those emotions at all. I was eating my emotions and I was living to eat. I would binge drink. And at the time, Pizza Hut had this pizza out called the Insider. God, I can't remember. I can't believe I just remembered the name of that freaking pizza. But I would get the Insider, and it had cheese on the inside of the crust. And I would get a extra cheese on the pizza with pepperoni and black olives. And I would eat like a whole large pizza after binge drinking. And if it wasn't the pizza, then I was at the Waffle House ordering everything that they had on the menu. And I felt awful. I looked awful. I didn't look like myself. My digestion was way off. It was constant issues, gut issues. Sky, gut health is key. Gluten and dairy free makes a huge difference. It does. It really does. I'm not gluten free, but I do keep the dairy to a bare minimum. It's that 80-20 I got going. 20% of the time, like over the holidays, sure. I mean, I had birthday cake. My husband made me a birthday cake. It was absolutely delicious. And I ate a piece of that birthday cake. But you're not going to see me eating cake unless it's a special occasion. And that will account for about 20% of my time. I don't want to feel bad. It's making that decision. Do you want to feel bad or do you want to feel good? And if you want to feel good, you know what you got to do. And all of these things that I just told you will help you in one way or the other. But you might not enjoy doing all of them. But if you just start exploring, okay? Oh yeah, Dr. Carver says, Ayurveda also says if you're ingesting dairy, have it warm. Yes, that makes a huge difference. I used to drink, I didn't realize this, but in the mornings I used to drink ice cold water. And I learned at the Chopra Center that interferes with your digestion. And so I started drinking warm water and warm stuff in the mornings. And it absolutely made a difference. It really did. I'm just happy people are shedding light on our deep traumas that when left untreated will affect you. Oh my God. I don't know how you pronounce your name. I get the Imani. But yes. And I did not understand emotional trauma. This is the honest to God's truth. I saw a body talk specialist. I was probably 31 or 32. I'm 48 right now, so that's how long ago it's been. I saw a body talk specialist and I wasn't really sure what to expect. But she asked me if I had any trauma. And I said, no. I was in a car accident when I was 16. And that's when I realized that it's not just physical trauma. That emotional trauma is a thing. I didn't know that. I really didn't. And I grew up in an area of rural Appalachia, and talking about mental illness or having a mental illness or talking about anxiety or trauma, it was unheard of. Nobody said anything. Nobody. And I had and this is in my book too, my great-grandmother was mentally ill, and there's a story about her in this book that will make the hair stand up on the back of your neck. She was mentally ill, severely mentally ill, and she was like an embarrassment. We've come a long way. We've come a long way with mental health awareness and education, and I wish we would have been further along when I was a little girl. I wish I would have known more. Have to keep Hashimoto in check, so subbing coconut and almond flour and still delicious. Oh yeah, there's so many ways that we can tweak things and it still tastes as good. Like I eat vegan ice cream. It's the non-dairy ice cream. I love it. I prefer it now to the Baskin Robbins stuff that I used to eat. Of course, I mean I think they discontinued Rocky Road. That was my favorite, but I found one that's non-dairy. I swear it's just as good. So, got family members like that too. Yeah. When we all start talking, that's why storytelling is so powerful. When we start talking and we start telling our stories, we have realizations. And we learn. I mean, we learn from each other. And we also realize, too, that we're not alone and that everybody has their own set of issues and that nobody's lives are perfect. And there's a reason why people are the way they are. And everybody's got trauma, no matter who you are or where you came from. Everybody's got it. And we can all work on processing that and releasing it, but it is an ongoing job. None of us are finished products. And we have to work on all of it daily if we want to feel good. And I know that I do, and I'm sure that you all do too. And I think that going into 2025, instead of making a bunch of New Year's resolutions that really don't ever come to pass, no judgment here. I never did follow through with a New Year's resolution, ever. But what does work is practices like what I just gave you. And you can go at your own pace, be compassionate with yourself, and don't put pressure on yourself. Just try something new every day. Just maybe one thing today that I told you about. Maybe all you do is you just interrupt a disempowering thought today. Anything can turn into a habit. I know the word habit kind of has a negative connotation because when we say habit, we immediately associate that with something bad. Well, there can be good habits too. And just interrupting that one disempowering thought can turn into a habit, and it can, before you know it, change your whole freaking life. I mean, if one positive affirmation, one mantra for me, I am perfect health, was the beginning start of me feeling good versus me feeling awful for the 3 decades of my life consistently, Love you, Melissa. Talk to you soon. If one mantra, one thing can start that whole process, it's like, why not give it a try? It doesn't cost you 1 penny, not 1 penny, to just interrupt a thought. It can change everything. Oh, thank you, Sky. You're very sweet. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here today. That's for sure. All right, everybody. If no one has any questions, I will sign off, and I will get this posted. Oh, Happy New Year, Amy. Clyde, write it over and over. I'm serious. I wish I could find a piece of paper where I've... okay. So this is a piece of paper that I was making notes on yesterday for Will. He was trying to find some clips for my podcast to give to Wave 3 News. Wave 3 News is our local news channel here. And yours truly gets her own 7-minute live segment starting January the 9th. It's called Thought Snob Thursdays. And so I'm getting my own show. And yesterday, Wave 3 was here shooting the promo video for that, okay? And I was going through some of my podcast episodes and making notes for Will to pull some clips from my YouTube videos so Wave 3 could include those in the promo video. And here it is. I don't know if you can see anything, but just as I was waiting for one of those videos to load, look at what I'm writing down. I am wealthy. I am perfect health. I am wealthy. I am perfect health. I still do it all day, every day. I say it. I write it down. It's the truth. And just do it. Like you will find this written all over everything. If I am on a webinar, or I'm at a doctor's appointment, or I'm waiting to go into the cryo chamber or something, if I'm somewhere I've got time to kill, I will get out a pen and a paper and I will write it down. I am perfect health. I am perfect health. I am perfect health. I am wealthy. I am wealthy. I have done that for as far back as I can remember after I started my self-empowerment transformation, my spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it. Oh, thank you, Amy. It works. It works. What you say can determine a lot. And I used to tell people, I used to, complain all the time, I get sick easily. Oh my God, I can't commit to that. I'm going to be sick. I'm always sick at that time of year. I'll probably have a head cold, or I'll probably have the stomach flu. I used to say things like that. You won't hear me say something like that in this day and time for nothing. You also are not going to hear me talking about that evil C word that's associated with breast and everything else. I won't say the word. You will never hear me say that word. I know the power of my words, the ones that we say consistently. Just be aware of that. I hope this was helpful. I really appreciate you all being here with me today. This episode was very special to me because I remember at the tail end of 2023 me saying I'm gonna 2024 is gonna be the year that I am healthy all year long, that I have not one bout of sickness, nothing. 2024 is gonna be that year, and it was. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. I promise. I promise. And if you need some help, you can always go to my book. It will take you through every step of the process of everything you need to do. I broke it down. It's so simple. Thought Snob, the modern spiritual playbook for a better life. It's available on Amazon in 3 formats. If you're not up for spending any money, that's okay. Check out my podcast, Thought Snob Podcast. New episodes air every Tuesday. It's available everywhere you get your podcast. Check out my website, paulaswope.com. Tons of information on there. Tons of information in all of my videos on social media. Someone in the room right now, Clyde, that I've been working with for quite some time, asked me where I would be going if TikTok was banned. I don't think it's going to get banned, but I'll just take it over to Instagram. I have a comparable following there. I just don't work that platform as much as far as live goes because I like TikTok. People are friendly. I understand the options and the editing tools a little bit better than I do in Instagram, but I can get acclimated in the IG. It's all right. So Sky, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Love, joy, health, prosperity to you. Happy New Year to everybody. Love you all. I will have this video up on my YouTube ASAP, definitely by tomorrow. And I'll be back this coming Wednesday. I don't know what my topic's going to be yet. If you have any suggestions, let me know. You can DM me or send me an email at paula@paulaswope.com. I always love getting suggestions about topics because there are so many. I can get buried in them. But I want to talk about things that are most pressing to you at the moment and that are going to be most beneficial to you, okay? So I'll sign off. I'll see all of you soon. Happy New Year. Make the most of it.